Morning, sixth grade. Welcome to your pod video for this fine morning. Let's jump to your announcements and reminders. First off, we're to the end of the hashtag Future Ready acronym for Beavers. Remember, this is our student profile attributes that we want you to have now and in the future. The S stands for solvers of problems, which we could just say problem solvers, right? But we needed the S. So these are folks that have an attitude that's best expressed from this little text box over here that I first saw in a video of a principal who took over a job in a very difficult Philadelphia inner city school. And she saw that there were some issues at the school. And a lot of people thought, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And so she said, so what? Now what? So you see the problem and don't get bogged down by hopelessness or just getting lost, and just say, I want to do what I can to fix this, all right, to make it better. So those students can solve problems in the classroom, but also in the world beyond. And they see those things and think, this is interesting to me. What can I do about it? As opposed to just wanting to complain about it. All right. So we'll talk about that off and on about that acronym, but that's our first overview. Last week, we talked about library time at lunch. So we're trying to give you guys some more options if the playground is not the best place for you or the place you want to be during your lunch recess. Eventually, we'd like to be able to have some maker space time at lunch. But for now, we're going to try it on a trial basis that 10 people per lunch, so the first lunch and the second. You have to sign in with Mrs. Pedrosa in the library. And as long as you're quiet and play a game or spend some time on your Chromebook or read a book, obviously, would be good. You're welcome to stay. Okay. Anybody that causes problems during that time would lose that privilege to come in. So it should be easy, but if that sounds appealing to you, come on in. All right. End of tries coming up at the end of this week. So I didn't put it on there, but I want you to remember, I guess you don't remember because this is the first time for you. This week in one of your classes, probably Miss Baumgart's, you will take your official school survey. All right. We only do it 3 times a year at the end of each trimester. We ask you some questions about how the school's doing, how about your feelings towards it in a variety of ways. And it is anonymous, and we encourage you to be taking it seriously and be accurate in your answers because they're very meaningful to me. Not in terms of just myself, but in terms of school improvement. We want to hear your voice. So this is a way that you can use that. All right. So be factual. And I froze again. So I will give up. Oh, no. Keep freezing with this internet. I'm at somebody else's house. So we'll see. I don't know what happens when we freeze like that. And then make sure your parents come in, hopefully, for parent-teacher conference. Good time to compare notes with teachers and your parents and see how your kids are doing. And then when we start your new try on Monday, it is a chance to start with a clean slate in terms of, yes, grades, but just your general effort, whatever you want to start with. It's just an opportunity to say, this is a new class, this is a new term, we can do as good as we want. From last week, our lesson was about habit 2. So if you remember habit 1, which we all know is habit 1, be proactive. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. If habit 1 is you're the driver of your car, take ownership of it, focus on your circle of control. Habit 2 talks about having a map and destination to know where you're going, having a plan. I don't know why last year when I first made this particular presentation, I put a picture of the Declaration, but maybe just that was the end in mind for our country. That's where we wanted to get. That was the ideals. And it took a while to get there, but at least we knew from the very beginning, where are we heading, which is what we're trying to help you do and have it. Habit 2 is always having the end in mind. All right. So we're going to talk about SMART goals, making them, reflecting on them today. And I want to ask you first, what is your end destination? All right. In the Sean Covey book that all of these pod lessons are from, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, he has them do a mission statement, which is sort of a overall life goal. What are you all about? What's your main purpose? I don't know as 11 and 12-year-olds if you're ready for that, but it's always something to keep you in mind as we make these smaller trimester goals. Are they taking you towards long-term, the person you want to be, the life you want to live? All right. So speaking of first try goals, on page 3 of your agenda, you should have made 2 goals in general. 1 academic, that means school related, and then a life extracurricular one. So it could have nothing to do with school, or maybe an extra activity you do at school, a sport, band, something like that. Okay. Looking at page 3, Teachers, if you want to pause me for a second, you're welcome to make sure they have their agendas. I hope they're still bringing those to class all the time. Reflect on how you did. First off, do you look at page 3 and just not have goals written there, or do you still have your agenda? Without the agenda or your goals, there's a lot of good things in your agenda, but you may have missed that day, certainly. So maybe that's why you don't have goals, because I have seen a few that didn't have goals on that page, and it kind of it disappointed me a little bit. But maybe you listened to this video and your teacher wasn't watching you close enough, and you just thought, I'm not doing that. You're not winning anything, okay? It's not an anti-authority thing. We're just trying to help you, okay? If you wrote one down or wrote 2 down, which I bet most of you did you achieve that? Because this trimester is basically over. If it's grade level wise, maybe you don't know yet, right? But some of those you probably know. So maybe you got one, maybe you didn't. So the question becomes, why or why not? Why were you successful? Okay. So on this part, I think I put the picture of a golf swing there because if you are trying to achieve something and you're always in the moment thinking about what can go wrong, that's not the best idea. And that's part of the reason why I'm a terrible golfer that really never goes, is because I get all lined up and I've heard what people have said of all these things, elbow tuck, all this, and then I start moving and it feels like I'm too focused on all these other parts. All right. So in the moment, just try your best, but it's nice to look back and say what derailed maybe some of my goals. Okay. What was going on that possibly derailed those? My screen is a little frozen, and hopefully that's not too bad. Oh, sorry guys if this video is bad. I thought this internet was strong. We shall see. So I'll try to go as fast as I can. One thing that can act as a roadblock, is labels. People who think, why are you trying to get A's? Are you whatever? I don't know what people don't say goody two shoes anymore. Teacher's pet. So if you think that you're going to be labeled as a certain way, maybe you want to be a cheerleader or you want to be in band, but you think that somebody would label you with something. I hate to think that would hold you back from your goals, but it does happen at your age, and happens to a lot of people, including me, that you are too worried about what other people are saying. So if other people call you that, so be it. It's when you start to really think that those things apply to you, that defines you. All right. So hopefully a label wasn't a roadblock for you achieving of this goal. Perhaps you had some problem with the "it's all over" syndrome. And I think of some of my days way back as a coach, that I had teams that if one small mistake occurred in the game, it was like the wheels fell off, like that happened to this gentleman here, which is an old phrase to just say whatever you're trying to do, it just completely derails like a train. It's just over. Okay. Versus the Mandela quote I've shown you a few times: I never lose, I either win or learn. So what? You gave up a score in soccer. Okay. You had a bad serve in volleyball. Okay. You played a sour note in band. So what? All right. One little setback on your way to achieving your goals is not the end. It's not. Okay. So don't get trapped on that. Perhaps you had a faulty goal to begin with. He calls this the wrong wall syndrome. Oh, sorry. I went a little too fast past that one. Where basically you got caught up on other things. Like, I really got to achieve this, but that took your focus away from the more worthwhile goal. Okay. So as you're in there and say, I tried my best, there might have been a flaw in your plan or even your overall goal. So make sure you're not going in the wrong direction. So we're going to get ready to look at second try goals, but I want you to know perhaps your goals from first try didn't have that A part of SMART in them, attainable. Okay. Because often people think, I want to do something better, cut out some bad food, have a better diet, but they want to make these big, complete 180 shifts, where in reality, life improvements and improvements in school are about these small but meaningful changes. All right. So let's think about that as we get into second try goals. So page 4 on your agenda has a spot for that. Also has a spot for your second try schedule, which you'll be getting next week. But teachers, you can pause me for a second if you'd like. And remember this SMART acronym. So if you have any questions, ask your teacher. Don't just put, I want to be better at school, not specific. How can you measure success specifically? Hey, what threshold or benchmark you need to have? Is it realistic? Okay, if you want to improve in basketball and score more points, are you going to score 45 points a game? Probably not. Okay. And then is there a time base? Well, really, because we're making this for second try, it's kind of built in with time based. All right. So take a while, try to write down 2 goals. Okay. Put some thought into it. Don't just say, I want to do better at school. What specifically? Turning in assignments, right? Listening during teacher lectures or not getting distracted during group projects, whatever you want. And then outside of school, either extracurricular or life goals. So pause for a second if you need to, get those goals down. Here's my pause. Okay. So one big powerful part of goals is sharing them. All right. So if you got 2 down during that short pause period that your teacher just gave you, turn to a friend or somebody close by and just say, this is what I want to achieve this trimester. Often this can help take this from the realm of it's just a dream. I'd like this to happen someday versus no, I'm doing this. Okay. This is something I'm going to achieve, not just a pie in the sky dream, as they say. Okay. So take a moment. I'll try to be quiet for a bit. You guys can pause me if you need to. Share your goals with a friend, please. Now, let's talk about really reaching those goals. And I have 2 or 3 video clips coming up. I don't know how those translate on these videos, but I will try, okay? Especially how I've been trying with the internet. It's been failing. Well, that one literally, okay. I froze again. Am I back? Okay. This video is probably not going to be very good when you watch it. I'm not going to mess with videos because we're having enough trouble. But there's a powerful scene from a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith and his son, based on a true story. Good movie if you haven't seen it, where the dad certainly has some goals and some setbacks. It's popping up right now, but I don't know if it's going to work. I really don't. Maybe we should try it. We'll see. I'll let him talk. Okay. And this is his message for his movie son, but real life son as well. Possibly. Yeah, never mind. But you can actually see the quote right here. You want something, go get it, period. Basically, when you put that goal on paper, the only thing that can really, truly prevent you, yes, other things can slow you down, but the only thing that can prevent you is you didn't have the willpower, okay? So watch that movie if you get a chance, because he's saying, if you really want to achieve that thing you wrote down, go get it, all right? So one key, writing it down. That's pretty powerful. Studies have shown, like I said, you told somebody, you write it down, you do it in a place that you can see it, right next to your second try schedule and your agenda that you're hopefully taking everywhere with you, excuse me. That's pretty powerful key. So I put the key there to actually achieving these goals. All right. Next, count the cost. This is a phrase that Sean uses in his book. This is supposed to be conditioning in a sport. And I don't know how often all sports do that. Probably just work during practice, but in some sports I played, as often at the end of practice they told you to line up, and you knew that's when the conditioning or not fun part of practice was coming. So what we're saying is, a lot of people say, I think this is like a soccer team, we want to be champions. Well, are they ready to pay the price? All right. So if you say straight A's, what's the cost going to be? Right. I'm not trying to discourage you from making ambitious goals, but to make them realistic, you got to know, okay, what is this going to ask of me, and can I do it? Am I willing to? Okay, so when people say, I want to be a professional athlete, you're going to have a professional work ethic starting now. And if you're not willing to do that, I would make a new goal. Okay. Next key to actually reaching your goals. I'm probably not going to mess with even Yoda's video clip because I'm not getting a play button. But he talks about just do it. There is no try, right? Either do or do not. Goes along with that Will Smith quote from the movie, that you can have lots of excuses in life. And we talked about your internal versus external factors, your circle of control. But even though, like I said, things can have roadblocks for you, very little prevents you from actually getting what you want. So just be like Yoda and do or do not. There is no try, which is a terrible, terrible Yoda voice. I apologize for that. What he's saying here is use momentous moments, like when there's a chance to start over, like second try, pretty nice, right? Or midterms, or hey, it's a brand new calendar year, it's a new month, whatever. Use that to help create momentum. If you know what that is, as a scientific term, you start getting some momentum behind you. It's easier for that object in space to travel. I don't know much about science, but that's what we're saying is if you make a little progress, kind of ride that progress out towards your goal. And if there's a chance to use something big on the calendar, like, hey, start of the year, start of the trimester, use that to your advantage. Use it as a motivator. All right. Again, I wish I could show you this clip, and I keep still on there. I think it is. These gentlemen came to our school district maybe 3 years ago now to talk about their remarkable experience. And I'm going to go to the next slide because it seems like maybe the videos themselves are messing us up. Yeah, that's probably good. Okay. And these guys are from, well, they grew up in Eastern Oregon, close to where I grew up. And one of the friends, I can't actually remember exactly what happened to him, but he ended up losing most muscle control of his entire body. I can't remember if it was all the way up to his neck. I think it was. And he had a dream even before this had happened to him of traveling this famous trail in Spain, I believe, or at least partly between Spain and other countries. And it was very mountainous. It's an old trail that I think some very old Christian missionaries had traveled back in the day on a sort of pilgrimage. And it's famous for being a terrible trail, even for somebody who's in great shape. So he wanted to do it, but he can't walk. He barely has any kind of muscle movement at all. So his friend said, I'll do it with you. He actually said, I'll carry you. Okay. And so that's what happened. And Sean talks about that's kind of like roping up in terms of if you're mountain climbing. Roping up is you tie yourself to others for their support. Okay. So that's why I don't know how many of you guys would really do this, but you could even go home and tell your parents today, hey, I made these goals for the trimester. I really want to accomplish them. Can you help me? Okay. Because no matter what people tell you, I know in America we have rugged individualism and I don't need anybody. I can do this myself. Excuse me. You're going to need help in life. You're going to need help with these goals. So find people that are supportive of them, and your chance of success goes way up. And I should give you the name of those guys that made that remarkable journey, because I've never seen the full movie version of what they did. But when they talked to us in person, I think our 8th graders were probably there to still see it. It was remarkable. So you've got some goals in front of you. You got some roadblocks to watch out for, some keys to make them happen. And the last thought is to rope up and get some support. And hope the video wasn't too glitchy. And I'll see you guys soon as I can close this and shut this thing off. Ooh, are we frozen? And sorry, guys, I'll try to trim this up in post-production if I can. I really have to trim this one. There we go. You're pushed up. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. Where's my donut crew, huh? Right there. And as soon as I can get this to come up and be patient and push stop, I will be done and try to edit this thing on the end. Click. Come on, stop button. Oh my. Amazon sign in. That's not at all what I'm doing.